Mahatma Gandhi's assassination by Nathuram Godse was justified. It was nearly 70 years ago when this righteous act took place. Gandhi brought death onto nearly 1 million people, according to BBC, and he favored the Muslims over the Hindus. So of course this act is justified, right? If there's anyone out there who still doubts Godse's action, who still questions whether or not Gandhi should have died, who still wonders if this action was justified, then let me tell you something that I learned recently. I was wrong to think this act could be justified, and you were right to question, right to doubt, and right to wonder about this act. Originally, after reading Godse's speech on why he killed Gandhi, I agreed with him. But after discussing it with friends and family, I realized that Gandhi did not deserve this fate. And today, we must and we will see that Godse's actions were wrong and they cannot be justified. After 1920, Gandhi's presence and influence in the Congress slowly grew and then became supreme. He paraded his slogans of truth and nonviolence ostentatiously before the country. Any man who was sensible or enlightened could not object to these slogans. But Godse's speech said that he thought Gandhi was a violent pacifist who brought untold calamities onto the country in the name of truth and nonviolence. What Godse is referring to here is how when Gandhi did not act with violence against those who wanted independence, 1 million people had to die. But what actually was happening was that the future leader of Pakistan, Jinnah, was very insistent on getting his independence. And so he made threats against Gandhi of a civil war. And to prevent bloodshed and to prevent loss of lives, Gandhi acted calm and decided to allow the partition to happen. But Godse sadly saw this as a weakness. And as Gandhi put it, nonviolence is an act of the strong. And I think that we would all agree with that, because unless you actually were crazy, violence is not a way to go. Don't you think, Maggie?
Yes.
Gandhi also often fasted to convey messages to the masses. But Godse accused him of manipulating the Hindus because he believed that these fasts Gandhi conducted were solely for the benefit of the Muslims. But I believe that Gandhi fasted so that everyone from all cultures would be accepted in his country. He was a humanitarian and he wanted equal rights for all his citizens. And I don't think there's anything wrong in that. He knew that the Pakistanis and the Muslims would not accept him, so he did not fast to change them, but instead he made numerous efforts to try to change his own Hindu people into being more open-minded and to accept other cultures. As you can see in this quote, Gandhi also says that he would like to accept all other cultures and that he welcomes everyone. So this reason given by Godse was very unreasonable, because he's saying that because Gandhi supported the Muslims, he should have been killed, which I don't think is right. Gandhi was and still is known as the father of our nation. But Godse absurdly accused him of failing his paternal duties because he said that Gandhi acted treacherously toward the nation in consenting to the partition of it, and proved instead to be the father of Pakistan. And yes, that does make sense, because in a way, he was the father of Pakistan because he played a role in the birth of it. But that doesn't mean that you go out and cold-bloodedly murder him. That was absolutely wrong. By consenting to this, Gandhi has actually proved to be the greatest father of our nation, because he helped the Hindus grow. And India currently ranks as the highest 11th GDP in the world, according to Nation Master, and Pakistan ranks 42nd. And this is because of Gandhi. Godse should have seen that Gandhi's act in partitioning was actually helping the Hindus, but he failed to do so. I believe now we can. We can see that there was a fault in our killer. Godse acted upon his instinct and his understanding of the situation, which was completely wrong. and wasn't well thought out. He went against all of Gandhi's actions. Gandhi's actions of nonviolence, which prevented death, Gandhi's actions of fasting, which promoted peace, and Gandhi's action of partitioning, which helped the Indian nation grow. So where India stands now in this race against Pakistan, much farther than them, I would say, is all owed to Gandhi. And Mahatma Gandhi's demise should not be justified or accepted by anyone, especially those who believe in peace and dignity. Thank you.